Okay, right. So today we are going to learn if you have a large set of data. For example, if you are having millions of data, then how you can create an extract. Okay. So generally, for example, last time we have seen, right? So we are having like 15 crores data in our one of the table, customer table in Snowflake database, right? So now we will see, we are going to learn how we can quickly create that extract, and after publishing into server, how we are going to refresh. Okay. So just I'm going to explain the concept, but here I am going to use parameter, but right, so parameter concept I will explain later. Just remember the process. Okay. So now I am going to connect to the Snowflake database. Yes, in this table, the customer, right? Customer table, we are having like 15 lakhs, 15 crores data. Okay. And also I am going to here, I am going to join one more like customers and region and supplier and orders. Okay. Line item. So these are the different tables we can join, but to join like different tables, right? So we should know the relationship between them. Okay. As of now, I am not going to take everything. So just I am going to take orders. I will explain these guys. Joins like here. Actually, we are having here physical layer and logical layer we are having in the latest version. Earlier versions, just we are having just only joins. Now in Tableau 2020 onwards, right? So we are having one is a relationship and another one is a joins. Okay. Physical layer, in the logical layer, we are creating a relationship between two tables. And in the physical layer, we are going to create a joins between two tables. Okay. Now, whatever we are doing, this is a logical layer. Okay. This is a logical layer. So here, just we are giving a relationship between these two tables. Okay. Whenever we will create a relationship, what is going to happen is in the workspace, whenever you are dragging the fields from two different tables, like for example, from customer table, I am using one field in my view, and from orders table, I am using another field. Then there the join is going to happen based on this criteria. Okay, this relationship. See, this relationship actually it is going to tell you like what is the relationship between the two tables. Either it is one-to-one relationship or one-to-many relationship, many-to-many relationship, or many-to-one relationship. How these two tables are related each other. So that is what the relationship means. Like here, you can see the if you keep the mouse cursor, right? The relationship customer to orders. Okay, from customer table to orders table. What is the relationship? Now you can see the cardinality. Cardinality, it is showing many to many. Means it is telling here with the single, for example, let's customer ID with single customer ID. We are having multiple customer IDs. Means multiple customer IDs means like for example, let's take a name Krishna. Krishna customer ID is 101. Now here it is telling many to many. Just take this example. It's not accurate. Okay, for now because we haven't established the relationship. Okay, so now it is telling in customer tables with like a there is a one customer ID 101 multiple times. Means we are having multiple records, and in orders table also we are having multiple orders for each customer. Anyhow, one customer, if in general we can discuss, right? One customer can make number of orders, n number of orders, right? It is not restricted to make only one order. He can order multiple things in a single day or in 1 month or something. Okay, he will be having multiple. He can order multiple things. Now here, right? So I'm going to click on this line. Now you can see when I click on this line, edit relationship. there is a one pop-up window is open. Here we are going to establish the relationship between two tables. Now here we know, right? So customer table, customer key is the primary key. So I am going to take the customer key, and here you can see cust key means from customer table, customer key, and from orders table, cust key is the common column. Okay, from customer and orders. Now you can see here, when you will click on this arrow mark here, here you can see here performance options. Here you can see cardinality is many to many. Cardinality is many to many, it is displaying. And also referential integrity, some records match. Some records match. So something referential integrity means like it is depending on the index, the referential integrity is going to work. Okay, so I will explain you these concepts again, no problem. But now, right, so here like each customer in customers table anyhow, we are going to have only one customer. Okay, for example, let's go to Snowflake database. Here guys, so we are checking this customer table, right? So I am going to click here and view details. When I will click the view details, now you can see guys, so here customer cust key is a number column, and null no, and primary key no, and unique key. See here there is a no primary key guys actually. See, and also here there is a no primary key set in this. So it will have multiple customer keys only. Okay, it is going to allow the duplicates. Okay. So because here you can see like if any primary key is mentioned, then it is going to display yes. Okay, but primary key is not a set here. So fine. So we are now here, right? So as per this, we are going to have many to many only cardinal. Okay. So I am going to close this one. Yes, now we can see we have given the relationship. And in case if the physical join means like here, just we have mentioned the relationship. How join is going to work means joins is going to work on the visualization level, view level. Okay. But whenever you are giving like physical, like for example, here now you can, now in this case actually, when you are going to establish the relationship, right? So the data is going to be stored individual tables level only. Now you can see if I will click on the customer table, now whatever the columns we are having in customer table, only those fields it is displaying. When I will click on orders table, now you guys can see only the columns which is available in orders table, those columns only displaying. Means what is going to happen is here, the data is going to be stored in individual table level. Here, the join is not going to happen. Whenever you are going to create a visualization by using the fields from two different tables, then in that case, the join is going to happen between them. Okay. Join is going to, whenever you are having a relationship, the join is going to happen at the view level. But see, now I'm going to remove this one. The physical joins means here only we are going to mention whether we need an inner join or left join or right join or full outer join. We are going to mention here only. In logical relationship, we are not going to mention the join type. Okay, but in the case of physical layer, this is a, as of now, whatever we have seen, that is a logical layer, guys. Now we are going to see the physical layer. Physical layer, in the physical layer, you can mention the join type. Okay, physical layer means now you can see the customer table is already I have added here. Now I am going to click. Now you can see double click this logical table to see its physical table. This is a logical table. Now I am going to double click on this. Once you will double click on this, now you can say it is opened another window on top of it. Here we can make the joins. This is a physical layer. Here you can specify the join type. Okay. Now here I am going to take orders. Okay. Now you can see here I am going to take the orders. Now here, whenever you will drag the orders, now you can say here it is asking join type. What is the join type you want to use it here? Here, the join type you can use either inner join, left join, right join, or full outer. Okay, now here we know like customer key is the common between both the tables. Now here, now you can select either inner, left join if you want, you can click on this, right join if you want, you can click on full outer. So inner join means it is going to give you the common columns between two tables. Means whatever is the matching records from both the tables, you are going to get only the matching records based on customer ID. For example, in customers table, you are having a customer ID 101, 102. Okay. And in orders table, you are having 101 and 103. You don't have a 102 in orders table. Then here the common column is 101. You are going to get output as a only 101. Okay. Now, if you are going to use left join, if you take the same example, here you are going to get 101 and 102. You are not going to get 103 because left outer join, how it is going to work is left table, full data plus matching records with the right table. Okay. Left table, full data plus matching records with the right table. This is how the left join is going to work. In the case of right join, what is going to happen is the common columns between two tables means 101 common column as per our example, and also the 103 record. Here 102 record you are not going to get in this case, means matching records from both the tables and also unmatched records from the right side table. So this is a right table. Left table means matching records from both the tables and unmatched records from the left table. Full outer join means it is going to give you matched plus unmatched records from both the tables. Okay, this is the 4 different types of joins we are having in Tableau. Right? Is it clear, guys? Yeah. Now I am going to click on inner join. Just I am going to take inner join here. Now I am going to click automatically update. Now here in the logical layer, what we have learned, we learned like we said like the data is going to be stored in 2 different tables, 2 different individual tables. One is customer and one is orders. In this case, in the physical layer, whenever you are going to mention the join type, now you can say the data is going to be stored in a single table, means the data whatever you are going to get, this data is going to be stored in a single table. Now you can say the fields from customer table and from orders table is showing in one place. In the earlier case, whenever you will click on customers logical table, then you are going to get only customer, whatever the fields available in customer table, you are able to see. Whenever you will click on the orders logical table, you can able to see the only fields from orders table. Okay. Now here, this is the case, means here the data is going to be stored in a single table. Now I am going to close this one. After giving the join type, you can close this one. Now you can see here, here you can see here, whenever you can see this symbol, set symbol. Okay. This here you can say it is a, here it is a logical table only, but behind it 2 tables were joined. Okay. Now with this, right, so if you want to join anything, for example supplier, if you want to join, so you can join. But here how the data is going to be stored, the data is going to be stored in 2 different tables now. One is a customer, means this is a physical join, like both the tables is like both the tables data as a single table, and whatever another logical table, that is going to be a separate table. Okay, could not be completed code, something unable to complete the action, some issue. So let me drag, let me take supplier name. So yeah, now you can see, guys. So here supplier key, nation key is there, phone supply key. Okay, here we are having supplier key. So let's see, do we have any supplier key here? No, here we don't have supplier key. Nation key we have. So now let me drag the nation. So nation, here nation key is there, region key is there, comment is there. So before that, again, we have to use the region here, because a region, I think we might be having customer related something, order or customer related something information. Region key is there. So something still we are not clear here. Again, region, for supports, orders, nation, line item. Let's see what is the line item, what kind of data we are having here. Yeah, I think here we are having nation key, right? So sorry guys, so it's my mistake. So we are having nation key already here. Okay, let me see what we are having here. Order key is there. Yeah, we can make the join with order key, like relationship. So here orders, order key, and here we are having, oh sorry, we are seeing this one only, right? Okay, right, discount. Yeah, here order key. Now we can make the relationship. Okay, this is the one. Now here, if you want, you can drag the nation, region as well. So nation key. So here you can go with nation key also we are having. Oh no, here, yeah, nation key is there and nation key is there. So you can mention the relationship. So this is how you are going to create a joins kind of thing. So after this, I am going to click here. Now guys, so you can see the customer, here you can see the customer columns and orders columns both were in a single place, and line item is another table and nation is another table. So these are the three different tables we are having currently. Now in customers, we are having customers plus orders data, right? So now what I am going to do is, if for example, if you want to create a visualization, it will take a lot of time, because we are having huge set of data. Behind the scene, we are having huge set of data. So if I want to work quickly, on this, then what we can do is, we can limit the data. First thing, you can limit the data, or you can first extract the data. So if you extract the data from, like for example, extract data, now here you can see it will take a lot of time. It will take a lot of time because we are having a lot of data here. Okay, so I am not going to work with this. Okay, I am not going to, yeah, first of all, I want to create an extract. So to create an extract, what I'm, see first, right? So to create an extract, what is going to happen? Whatever the data till now, whatever the data we are having in the database tables, all the data is going to be copied into your local extract file. Means we are going to take a copy of the data from database. But here we are having 15 million records, 15 crores data, but it is very difficult to fetch all the records. It will take like 4 hours, 5 hours, depending on the data size and the connectivity between our machine and the server. So to avoid that one, what I am going to do is, I am going to create an empty extract. An empty extract. Empty extract means the extract is going to have 0 records. You cannot able to see even single record in that. So how I am going to create is, first I am going to create a one parameter. Guys, I will explain this parameter concept again. So just how to create an empty extract, just observe the screen. So I'm going to create a parameters. If you want to create a parameter, you can click on this drop down and create a parameter. And another option is you can right click on this white space and create a parameter. Or you can go to analysis and here we don't have, yeah. Right click on this and create a parameter. Once you click on this parameter window, here I am going to select, I am going to give name for my parameter like empty, like blank extract. Just I am giving name, any name you can give. Now here I am going to take Boolean, either true or false. Means if you want to include the data or not include the data. So the data type of this parameter, I am going to select the Boolean data type. Now here I am going to select true and false. See, when we learned about the data types, Boolean means it is going to give true or false or 0 or 1, right? So I am going to click OK. See, once I will click on OK, now you can see guys, bottom side, you can see one more section has been created here. This section is parameter section. Whatever the parameters you are going to create in this workbook, all the parameters is going to be fall under this section, parameter section. All are going to be available under parameter section. Now, after creating this parameter, I'm going to right click on this, create calculated field. Just I'm going to create a one calculation. So here I'm going to give like empty extract. So I'm going to give calculation name as a empty extract, and I'm not going to write any calculation. Just I'm going to mention this parameter name here. Now after this, I'm going to click on OK. Now here you can see the field whatever you have created empty extract, the calculation, it is available under this table section, right? Now you guys can see guys, so whenever you have created any calculation, any type of calculation you are going to create, that is going to start with equal to symbol. That is going to start with equal symbol. Now you can see small icon equal, true or false, it is displaying. Equal symbol means wherever you can see before this field name equal symbol means that is a calculated field which we have created in the Tableau. That is not coming from the database. That is a custom field. In terminology, you can say custom field which we have created in the Tableau side. Okay, fine. Now we are good here. Now what I'm going to do, just I'm going to click on this, just show parameter. Now here you can see true or false. Now I can select whatever I want. Now I am going to select true only by default. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to right click on this data source and click on extract data. Once I will click on extract data, now you can see here we are having logical table, physical tables. See, logical tables means already we learned. Logical tables means the data is going to be stored in three logical different table wise. Physical tables means the store data using one table for each physical table. Means the data is going to be stored in a single table. Okay, so this is how it is going to, but I am going to use logical table for now. After below this, I am having filter section. In this filter section, I am going to click on add button. Here, whatever the calculation I have created, calculation empty extract I have created. So I am going to search with this. So you can see here, just I am going to select this option, click OK. Here I am going to select true and I am going to click on exclude. Okay, true, exclude I am doing. Just after that, click OK. So I will explain you all these concepts, guys. What will happen if you exclude everything? So I'm clicking on extract. Once you will click on extract, now you can see it is asking where you want to store the data. Just I am giving like under data sources only. So just save it. So now you guys can see guys. So extract has been created. Now I have an extract. Now extract has been created. Now, for example, if you drag any field, you are not going to get any data because the extract size is 0 now. We don't have any data. Even we don't have a single record in this data source. So now what we are going to do after creating an empty extract, what I am going to do is I am going to publish this data source to server. I am going to publish this data source to server. From server side, I am going to trigger a refresh. What will happen if I will trigger a refresh from server side? From server to server, there will be a connectivity will be fast from server to server. So the extract refresh time will decrease, and you can see the data within half an hour or 1 hour. Below within half an hour. Okay, we can say. So now, before publishing, what you have to do is the parameter you have to make it false. Because again, while publishing, if you are going to keep true means, again, once you will refresh from server side also, you are going to get 0 records only. Whenever you are making false means, it is going to load the data into your extract file. So now what I'm going to do is just to publish the data source to server, you can publish in 2 ways. The first way is you can go to server menu and first sign in. So now I am going to sign in. This is the mail ID and I am going to enter the password for it. So now I have successfully logged into server. Now you can see signed into. So this is the server I logged in. Now I'm going to click on publish data source. See here we are having a publish data source option. Either you can go here and you can click this option, or what you can do is right click on this data source and here we have a publish to server option. Once you will click on publish to server option, one pop-up window is going to open. So this is the project. Now you can say project name is December Tableau 2021, which we have created. And this is going to be a data source name. So data source name, I am going to give extract. So snowflake underscore extract. Okay. And here the permissions, I'm not going to change anything. Refresh not enabled. So whenever you are going to publish, you have to make it refresh not enabled means you have to make it allow refresh access. Okay. Click on it. Now here, update workbook to use the published data source. Means here now you can see here you are having 2 cylinders on top of it, 1 arrow mark. Means it is a extract file, which is going to, whenever you are going to publish the report into server, automatically this data source is going to be embedded with the workbook. Okay. Now I don't want to keep the data source in the workbook. I want to publish the data source as a separately. So that's why I am doing here. Okay. Now, whenever you will publish the data source separately to the server, the advantage is this data source, whatever the name I am giving, right? Snowflake underscore extract. This extract you can use in another reports as well. If you want to create another workbook, in that workbook also, we can use this one. So I will show you how we can. Now here, I am going to update workbook to use the published data source. Means when you will select this option, what is going to happen is this local extract is going to be automatically replaced with this Snowflake extract. Okay. Once it will publish to server, automatically it is going to replace it with this. Okay. Now I am going to click on publish. Let's observe the screen here. This logo is going to be changed to Tableau logo. Once you can see the Tableau logo here means you can say that is a published data source that is available in the server. Now the data source has been successfully published to server. Now here you can see in the Tableau report, Now you can see it, the data source has been changed to Tableau logo. Means whenever you can see the Tableau logo before the data source name, that means this is a published data source, means the data source is already available in the server. Now one more thing, like see, now I am going to open another Tableau. Actually, when while connecting to data, like we have seen the connections, right? Different connections, like one is a top one is a Tableau server, and another one is a 2A file. After that, to a server. Here you have, you guys observed here under connect, we are having Tableau server, micro 2A file, 2A server, and saved data source. I said I will explain later, right? So now this is the time we need to learn about this. Now guys, so just now I have published one data source to server. The name of the data source is Snowflake Extract. Now I want to create another workbook by using that same data source. So now what I am going to do is I am going to connect to the data source. That data source, whatever is available present in the server, I want to connect to that data source to create a report. Now what I am going to do is just I am going to click on this Tableau server. Once you will click on the Tableau server, it is going to ask you to sign in. Okay. Once you will connect to the server, now it is going to display once connection, once valid authentication is successful. Now it is going to ask you to connect. It is going to display all the published data sources, whatever is available in the server. Now you can see search for a data, and here if you want you can search, you know the name. If you are having multiple things, you can search it. Now here you can say the Snowflake Extract. This is what we have published to server. Okay. Now you can see the time 31st December 2021, 5:35 p.m. we have published it just now. So now I want to connect to this data source to create a report. Now what I am going to do is I am going to click on this and connect. Now you guys can see the workbook is going to be connected to the Snowflake Extract. See now, this is how the same data source, once you will publish the data source to server, you can use that data source to create a multiple workbooks. Each and now what is going to happen is now book 1 and book 2, these two are connected to the Snowflake Extract. Now, for example, let's assume you haven't published the data source to server. First time you are going to connect to the Snowflake and you are going to bring the tables, whatever is required. And here also you are going to connect to Snowflake and you are going to bring the tables. If you haven't published the data source, what is going to happen is once you will publish the workbook, book 1, once you will publish this one, along with this workbook, the data source also is going to be published to server. Now, whenever you will publish book 2, along with this data source, along with this workbook, the data source also is going to be published. Means we are publishing the same data twice into Tableau server. Then what is going to happen is the performance of the performance will decrease. Instead of keeping multiple copies in the server, we are going to make only one copy, which is going to feed the data to multiple workbooks. That is the main purpose of publishing the data source to server. Instead of making duplicates of the data in server, we are going to publish the data source to feed the data to multiple workbooks. Is it clear, guys? Why we need a published data source? Published data source means nothing, guys. Just the data source we are publishing. Whatever the data source is published to server, that data source we are calling it as a published data source. Is it clear?
Actually, we are joining the customer table and order table.
Yeah.
Okay. And also we are adding. I mean, we are adding two tables like which are shown below the tables.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, we can create one. Actually, we can create one blank extract.
Yes, correct. We have created.
Actually, what is the use of blank extract here?
Yes. See, blank extract means why I have created means if the Tableau application, whatever the application I installed in my mission. Okay. If I will click, normally I will right click and I will extract the data. When I will extract the data, what is going to happen is to fetch all the data, it will take a lot of time. And also, it will take a lot of time to avoid waiting. Means, for example, let's assume like to bring all 15 crores data, it will take, let's assume it is going to take like 5 to 6 hours in my desktop. Okay. Now, to avoid that one, what I have done, just I have created an empty extract, means with 0 records. Now, just I have published the extract, the data source to server. Okay. Now, what I am going to do is from server, I am going to trigger the extract refresh. Now here, I am going to right click on this and refresh extracts. Now, okay, I am just now I have to refresh. So I am going to click on this. So refresh extracts now, full refresh. Whenever I will hit the full refresh now, what is going to happen is the server side, right? The server, Tableau server to database, the connectivity will be fast compared to our desktop. So then what is going to happen is it is going to take less time compared to our desktop. Whenever you, whatever the extract you are running from desktop, okay, let's assume it is taking 5 hours. From server, it will complete within half an hour or 40 minutes. Now, anyhow, our workbook is connected to the published data source. Once the extract refresh is successfully done, then the data is going to be available here. You can create the visuals.
Okay.
Yeah. Now here, just if you want to monitor background tasks for extract. Yes, now you guys can see, so it is in pending. So like last time, right? So guys, when we are doing, right? So you can see we have scheduled one extract refresh, right? So now you can see today also it ran successfully. Initial, right? So I think second class or third class when we are discussing about.
Yeah,
correct. So now you can see like last 24 hours. Now you can see for like last 2 days, weeks. Okay. Last 1 week. Now you can see last 24 weeks by default it is taken. So now you can see we have created on December 25th. Okay. From that time onwards, it is just running every day as per the schedule. Okay. So this is how once you have scheduled, right, automatically it is going to run every time. Okay. So if any issue means it is going to display red color. For example, let's assume this day, like December 29th, if it has failed means it is going to show in red color. Successful means it is going to show in blue color, and green color means it is in progress currently. Okay. It will take some time. So because we are having huge data, right? So it will take some time. But before that, what I am going to do is I am going to explain you few more things here. Okay. Now guys, so here you can see the data you are displaying in like the table wise, right? Customers, line item and nation. Okay. Now here you can see it is the data is displayed in the table wise. Now, for example, you can right click on this. Sorry, you can go here. Now you can see group by data source table. Now the data is grouped by data source order. Means in the data source or in the data source level, we are having 3 different tables, right? One is a customer. In customers only, it is a physical layer. In the physical layer, we have joined customer and orders and line item and nation. These are the 3 different tables finally we have, right? So now you can say the data is grouped by the data source table. Means the data is like the data is showing in table wise. Now, for example, if you want to group by folder, then what? Now you can say group by folder. When I will click on group by folder, now you can see there is a no tables. All the fields is displaying as it is. It means like plainly means there is a no grouping happened, right? The fields are not grouped based on the database table level. And also now here, guys, so you can group the data. means you can create your own tables to organize the data. To understanding purpose, you can group the data, means you can create a folders. So how you can create a folders means, for example, if you are having like sales related, you are having, let's assume you are having 50 columns. Then you can group, or you can create a one folder and you can keep all these 50 columns into one folder. You can name that folder as a sales. Or if you are having some order related information, you can create a one folder and you can keep all the orders related fields in one. Or the locations, if you want to create, you can, if you want to create a one folder to keep all the locations related information, you can create. Now here also, for example, how you are going to create means, for example, I am going to address, right? So I am going to right click on this. See here, whenever you will click on any field, you are going to get one drop down, guys, for that right side of that field. So now here, address I am going to select, and here I am going to click on this arrow mark, and here, here you can see folder option is there. I am going to click on this, create a folder. So here I am going to create a folder as location. Okay, I have given the name as location. I am going to click on OK. Now you can see, once I will click on this, now you can see one folder is created, location. This is the folder. Like how you are going to create a folders in your drive. Actually, in your personal PC also, you are going to create a different folders. Why you are going to create different folders? To identify what kind of data I am storing in it. See, if you are going to search for some file, if you are not organizing data in a folder wise in your machine also, it is very difficult to find out. That's where what the people used to do is they are going to create a different folders to organize the data. Movies one folder, study material one folder, the useful information certificates one folder, blah 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 things. The same way in Tableau also, here you can create you can organize the data by creating the folders. Here, see, now the C address is added into locations. Now we can see we are having different locations, like the location is here we can have nation key. So we can use nation key also. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this and just go to folder and add to folder and location. Now it is going to be added into that folder. Now you can see it is added. Now the same way here, supplier key is not that one, so it's called nation key is there. So nation key also you can add it. So folder, add to folder, location. So this is how, and also we are having a region, right? Region key. So you can folder, add folder, location. So this is the one way to add. And another way is, how we can add is, so so here n nation key. So somewhere we will get n, n comment n name. So n name means it is a nation name, guys. N name means it is a nation name. So directly either you can click on this and add to folder. So this is one method. And another method is by holding the mouse control, you can drag this field and drop into this area. Now you can see whenever I will move the mouse cursor by holding that field, whenever I will move on top of the folder, now you can see it is displaying one orange color. Once you will drop it here, automatically that is going to be added into this folder. Drag and drop this. Okay. So this is how you can add this field. Now, and also we are having region, right? So you might be having some regions also. So okay, fine. So okay, so this is how you can create. Now you can organize this way, folder wise. You can create a number of folders. Okay, so like shipping related or something, whatever you want, you can create. Like customer related, like phone number, name, and customer comment, whatever he mentioned. So this is how you can manage. So if you don't want this one, so you can go to here and you can click the sort by data source sort. Now automatically it is going to be sorted and it is going to be stored based on the table wise. Okay, so this is how you can organize your data. So why the people is going to organize means it is going to give some meaningful information. When say uh, for example, the customer asked you to create a one data source, means they are going to create a reports themselves. So then once you will create this one, this way you can create. If you are having more fields, then it is better to organize the data in a uh, like in a folder wise or table wise. Then the users will come to know easily, okay, which table, like for example, location fields, all the location fields in one place, all the different calculations in one place, like that. Okay, you can organize it. Okay, just this is an option, guys. It's not mandatory to organize. Also depends on your requirement. You can go through it. If you have a time, you can, or else leave it. Okay, so now here, right, so it is not done, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the folder. So now once you will remove the folder, all these are going to added here. Now here, let's sorry, here group by folder, group by data source table. Again, if you can do it, it is going to be like this, the original. Okay, and let me go here. What is happening here? So it is still in progress. Let me refresh. Yeah, it will take a lot of time, guys. So because we are having more data, right? So 551 seconds till now. Okay, it ran 551 seconds. Fine. And another thing is we are having we are going to learn like how to create a hierarchies. Okay, so to like as of now we don't have a data, right? So what I'm going to do is till that time I'm going to connect to the Excel file. Okay, from this Excel file I am going to show you like how we can create a hierarchies. Now orders table, here also I am going to click. I have taken the orders table, and if you want, right, so you can take the returns as well. So if you want, you can join with returns. This is a logical, guys. Here we are doing logical. See, automatically order ID, based on the order ID, it is join is relationship is established. Now you can see the relationship here, many to many relationship only, number of orders and number of returns, and also people. So if you join this one, now you can say orders and people. Now you can say this relationship might be like many to one relationship. It is going to be many to one, because in orders table, the people, you can say in the people, as simple, you can see the peoples, you can see different 4 persons and email IDs, but they are not repeated. Means here it is going to be many to one. Many means odd. In orders table, many means n number of records for one person, but in people's table we are having only one person. There is no duplication, so that's why it is going to be many to one. Now cardinality is many, and here you can select many to one. Okay, let's, yeah, cardinality means, yeah, that's what, right? So let me give one example. Let's assume, for example, here I have you understand like what is it mean by one to one, one to many, like that? Yeah, cardinality means that is a like how the tables were like how the data is organized in both the tables and what is the relationship, how that relationship is. That is what the cardinality means. Nothing special. Okay, it is going to tell you how the both tables are joined together. Means what is the relationship between both the tables. It is going to. So fine. So here, okay, now I am going to click on sheet. So now here, guys, so by default, yesterday what we learned is whenever we are creating the, whenever we are using date fields into our view to create a view, what is going to happen is By default, it will be having a hierarchy. Okay, now you can see plus symbol. Now we learn like what is the main purpose of creating a hierarchy. By creating the hierarchy, the end user is going to get the flexibility to see the data in different granularities. User can see the data in different granularity. Now, for example, now here I want to create one hierarchy. Now the hierarchy is, for example, now we are having category, okay, and also subcategory. Let's assume subcategory, and in each subcategory we are having different products. Okay, let's assume furniture. In bookcases, these are the different products I am having in bookcases. Now the customer want to see either profit or sale based on each category first of all. After that, he want to see each subcategory wise how it is performing. He want to see. Then product name wise, he want to see the data. See, for this, right? So we are not going to create 3 different visualizations. One is for like let's take a profit. So one is for like category and category wise profit, and another graph is subcategory wise, and you are going to add category as per the requirement and profit. And another one is you are going to create one more visualization, category, subcategory, and product name, and after that profit. This is like here you can see you are creating 3 different visualizations. But by creating the hierarchies, what you can do is with the single visualization, in the single visualization only, user can drill down and drill up. Okay, he want to see in detail data, he is going to drill down. He want to see the aggregated data, then he is going to drill up. Okay, now here how we are going to create a hierarchies. Now just I am going to click on the category because I want to create a hierarchy. Like now guys, so if you guys can observe here, first category will come. This is a higher level one, and in each category we are having different subcategories. In each different subcategory we are having different products. Means this is going to be first, and subcategory is going to be second, and the name is going to be a third place. So the order is very, very important. Now whenever you will use order date, now you can say first year is coming. It is not displaying first date because in each year we are having different quarters. In each quarter we are having different months. In each month we are having different days. So this is the hierarchy. It means from top level categories to lower level categories. Now here in this case, top level category is a category field and the lower level category is a product name. So now the order is very, very important whenever you are going to create a hierarchy. Now here I'm going to right click on this and here create a hierarchy. Go to hierarchy option, then create a hierarchy. Now here I am going to give name as like a category CATE hierarchy I am going to give. See guys, I'm going to click on OK. Now you can say the hierarchy symbol is going to be one kind of tree. It is going to display as a one tree. Now you can see just I'm clicking on OK. Now you can say this is the hierarchy symbol. Now you can see this is the hierarchy symbol. So now if you can expand or collapse this one. Now we are having category. Now what we want subcategory. So directly as however we learn how we can organize the data, right? So whenever we are creating a folder, after creating the folder, you are going to add the fields into that folder. So what I'm going to do is here directly click on it, hierarchy, add to hierarchy, category hierarchy. If you want to create a new hierarchy, then you can select create a hierarchy. Now anyhow, I am going to add this subcategory to the existing hierarchy. So I am going to select this category hierarchy. Now here what I am going to do is another one is product name. So I am going to drag, another option is directly you can drag and drop it. Now you can see, guys. So first one is category, the second one is product name, third one is subcategory. Now you can see after creating, once I have created the hierarchy, now you guys can observe here, the hierarchy has been created. Category, subcategory. So, okay, let me remove this year one. So, okay. Now here you can say category. After category, you are getting the product name. But what we need a subcategory. Then once you will drill down, then you are going to get subcategory. But this is not the case, right? So we have to rearrange this order. So to rearrange this order, what I am going to do is directly I am by holding the mouse key, just I am dragging and dropping. Now you can see whenever you will move the cursor, it is going to show, the line is going to show the position. Once I will leave the mouse cursor here, the subcategory is going to be added into the second place. Now you can see here, just go here. Now you can see subcategory, then here. Now guys, so this rows, whatever I am operating from rows shelf, right? So this option is not going to be enabled for the end user. Now only the user can select from here. From the view itself, user can drill down. Now you can see at whatever the granularity he needs to see the data, then he can drill down on drill up based on his requirement. So with that single visualization only, we are achieving this requirement. Instead of creating 3 different sheets, we have created one sheet and we have provided drill down and drill up options to the end user. Okay, is it clear? Fine. Now let's see what happens to this. Just refresh. Yeah, still it is running 1193 seconds. Yeah, let me see how much time it will take. Fine. So this is a hierarchy. So guys, now right, so we are going to build one visualization like already we have seen visualizations, right? So what are the different? Yeah. See guys, so as I said, right, so by default visualization, right, so whenever you are using dimension, the default visualization type is bar graph. So now here I am going to drag the category here and category, and I can use the profit, for example, profit I am using. So the default visualization is bar graph. So now here user can drill down as already we know. So this is how user can drill down, right? So here my requirement is like, for example, I want to display based on the like the color wise, like different colors here, right? So here you are showing category, right? So you can drag the region as well here. Okay, it means each region how it is performing. Now I am going to give the color for this. Now guys, so simple thing I will explain, like, okay, let me try what are the different options we are having. Okay, yeah, fine. Okay guys, so before creating all these things, right, so what I'm going to explain you, I am going to explain you different options what we are having whenever you will click on this field. Okay, so let me create a one sheet. So guys, here add to sheet means it is going to be added into sheet. Now you can see here, once I have clicked on add to sheet, now automatically the map is created. Okay, let's clear. So directly it is going to, or you can directly add it. Now the another option is duplicate. So when actually we are going to duplicate the fields, what is the main purpose of duplicating the fields in real time, guys? So generally what is going to happen is, for example, I will give simple example. Now here I have a regions. Okay, let's take I have a region and I am having profit. I am displaying a one visualization region wise, And the user is asking me, in one visualization, he want to see the regions. Okay, I am sorting it out. In one visualization, he wanted the full names for each region. He is asking for another visualization. Here, he needs region and also let's take a category and the profit. Here, he don't want to see the central, east, southwest full names. He want to see only CESW, means only single word name. And here, he want to see the full name. In this case, what we have to do actually? Here, whatever the change, for example, we are having aliases. We know that one. Now, aliases means you can do in two ways. Aliases. Aliases means here data member alias. Already I have shown you. In Oracle, in SQL, we are having table alias and column alias. But in Tableau, we are having member aliases, data member aliases. Now you can do two ways aliases. One is directly you can right click on this and you can click on edit aliases. Now, for example, here the customer is wanted to make as W. So I am going to keep W. Now you can see here it is showing W. Now what about sheet 5? Now if I will go to sheet 5, here also it's converted to W. But in one sheet I want to display best. In another sheet I want to make as W. So what I can do? So in these scenarios, we are going to work with duplicates. Now here you can see this is one thing. Now like go to regions. So this is one way you can create an alias. Okay, East. You can mention E and OK. Now the another way is directly you can first way is you can directly right click on this and you can edit aliases. And another way is you can go to region and click on it and you can go to aliases option. Okay, here you can see already East and West is already aliased. Now you can double click on this value aliases, double click on this. So C, you can give C and here yes. And after this, you can click on OK. Now you can see automatically it is alias. Now these are the alias names in Tableau. Now you can see here also it is displaying the same, but this is not my requirement. So first thing what I am going to do is right click on this. I'm going to clear the aliases. So aliases, and here I want to revert the names. Just clear aliases. Once I will clear the aliases, now you can say the original names, it is displaying as per the database. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this region. Just duplicate it. Now here I'm going to rename it. See guys, whenever you are going to rename, it is not going to take same name. Now you can see if you are trying to give the name, same name, now you can see it is throwing one error message. A field or logical table named region already exists. It is saying already there is a region name. You cannot give same name for that field. So I will click on OK. Now here I am going to give some, for example, like for remembering purpose, I am going to give like either dot or like space. Now guys, in this case, you guys can see if I will give one space, extra space, now it is going to accept. It is going to accept. The space also, it is going to treat as a one character here. Okay. So now you can see this is a calculated field, guys. Whenever you will duplicate this one, I have duplicated the region field. After duplicating, you can see equal to ABC means now you can see here edit. I can edit calculation fields. Whenever you can see equal to symbol, that is a custom field which we have created in Tableau level. Okay. Now I can edit this one. Now if you click on this arrow mark and you can see the edit option, but the original fields will not going to have the equal symbol before this icon. So now if you try to right click on it, now you cannot able to see the edit option. Original fields you cannot able to edit. Only the custom fields you can able to edit. Now if I will edit it, what is going to have this calculation? Nothing guys. it is going to have only region field. This is the name region. This is the name. It is available here. Okay. Now we will see like why it is displaying like this. Whenever we are going to learn calculations, right? That time we are going to. This is also one calculation field, guys. This whatever we have duplicated, right? It is going to create it as a one calculated field automatically. Okay. I'm clicking on OK. Now here region I am using. So here I want to display the original names. In sheet 5, I want to use the duplicate field. Now here I am going to remove this one. Here I am going to add this duplicated field. Okay. Now for this duplicated field, I am going to give the aliases. Here, C, East, South, West. Okay. Now here you can see it is changed. Now let's see in sheet 4 what happened. Is it changed? No, it's not changed because this is the requirement. Here I am giving this way, and sheet 5 I am showing alias names. So the duplicate will help in lot of situations, guys, in real time. Actually, whenever you are creating a visualization, depends on the requirement, we are going to duplicate the columns. And another scenario is like, for example, and one more scenario, like for example, here I have a like profit. Let's I am having a profit already. I am displaying the profit here, right? Now okay, now I am going to give profit into labels. Now you can see it is displaying the profit in labels wise. Now for example, again, how I will explain that concept. Yeah, here already we are having a profit. Now if I will drag profit into size, colors, it is going to work perfectly, but labels only. Yeah, I'm not getting how we can achieve that one. Actually, measures also we will duplicate, guys, depends on requirements, but I am not getting exact requirement now. So yeah, okay. So I will explain you once I will remember. Okay. So depends on the requirement, we are going to duplicate either measures or like dimensions, whatever it may be, we are going to duplicate it according as per the requirement. So this is one scenario, guys. Okay, this is where when you are going to duplicate this field. Okay, and one more thing here, for example, yeah, let's see what is happening. This one. Yeah, it is still running. Okay, fine. So now, and also here region wise also, for example, guys, one more thing here. Okay, so let's assume I am going to remove this field here, and I am going to give region here as well. Okay, region only I am giving. Now you can see here the colors. Whenever I will drag the colors here, it is assigned default colors. Okay, so now I am going to edit these colors. So how I can change the colors for this? So what I can do is either you can click on edit colors here, colors and edit colors. Okay, the another way is you can directly double click on this any one of this data member. You can directly double click on it. Now here I am going to change the colors. See, for example, here you can see we are having a lot of color palettes. Okay, now here I'm going to select something, right? So different, or if you are not sure about this one, if you don't want these colors, then what you can do is again you can double click on this. Once I will double click on central, now you can see another window is open. Last time we have seen like how to bring the pick the screen color. Okay, so for central I want to give different color, so I will click on pick screen color. Now you can see here I'm going to select whatever I want. Now you can see whatever I am going to click mouse cursor, it is going to select. So now I want to give like a different, like this color. Okay, for central, let's I am giving. So for east, I am giving like south, some red color. So just I am assigning guys. So, okay. So this is the colors I have used. Now, if I will go to sheet 5, if I will drag the region again into colors, so what is happened, guys? The colors, whatever the colors I have assigned it here, the same colors assigning here again. So I don't want to be happen this way. So here I want to assign different colors, and here I want the different colors. So in this case, now I can remove this region and then I can drag this one. Let's see what is going to happen. See, here it is having different colors. Now here you can see it is having different colors. These are the different kind of scenarios, guys, where you have to duplicate the fields. Is it clear? Yeah. So on measures, right? So we are going to duplicate whenever we are going to use in calculation fields kind of thing. Okay. So I will explain you that concept as well, no problem. So guys, it will take another lot of time. So because having huge data, right? So so now this is the one option. Now let's go to click on any one of the field. Now rename. The rename means already we have learned like renaming means, for example, some names. When we are going to rename the fields is actually, see, whatever we are doing the changes here, whatever the renamings or anything, whatever we are doing, just to show the end user. So whatever the names we are going to keep in the report, it should be understandable for the end user, right? If the names is not able to understand by the customer, then there is no point to create a visualizations. Whatever you are creating and whatever the titles you are going to give for your data, whatever you are displaying, it should be easy, understandable format. And that too, the business users, whoever will see, the layman's. If, for example, I am a layman, I don't know anything. Just by looking at the visualization, I should come to know that this is what it is displaying. Means the headers, whatever you are going to give the titles, it should be in understandable format. So, and also business users, right? So they always used to use some terminology. Means, for example, in the database, the name might be like country / region something, but the end user that is going to display as a like plant location something. They are going to say like it is a plant location. So you are going to use, instead of region or something, you are going to use plant location. So in these cases, you are going to use renaming functionality. From database, you are getting one name, but end user perspective, the names you are going to rename it. So to rename the field, you are going to use the option, like for example, instead of customer name, here you can see, for example, let's take this example. So you are showing like top 10 customers. Now, whenever you are showing top 10 customers, you are going to give a title as a customer name. But customer name is not understood by all the business users. Let's assume, okay? Let's assume instead of customer name, like subscriber name they want to see. So what we are going to do is like we are going to rename it as a subscriber name or something different. Okay, so this is how you are going to rename it. Or what you can do is you can directly double click. Whenever you will double click, right? So it is going to add it here. Not that, yes. So here you can click on rename only. See, this way you are going to rename it. See guys, this is the name. Whatever the renamings you are doing here, it is not going to be impact your database. It is not going to impact your database. It is not going to update your database. In your database, the names will be same, but these renamings, we are doing the renamings for end user perspective to make them understand. And in the same thing, right? So already we have discussed, for example, already you are going to look into the existing report someone else created. In that case, if we want to check the data in the database, you don't know the actual column for this, then what you are going to do is you are going to describe the field. Just click on this field and you can go to describe. Then once you will click on describe, now you can say the remote column name. It is orders customer name, means in orders table, the name of this original field is in the database, the name is, the field name is customer name. Okay, so this is how you can find out the remote field name. Okay, so is it clear, guys, when we are going to use renaming? Fine. So now another thing is like hide. So this hide option is generally it is a one type of like performance improvement tip. For example, here you can see we are having a lot of columns, but as per the requirement, so these are the different graphs which customer is expected from our end. Let's assume only these graphs. Then is it required to keep all the fields? It is not required. So what you can do is you can hide the fields. So you can click on hide. Now you can see row ID. Just I am clicking on hide. Now you can see you cannot see the hide here because, sorry, you cannot see the row number here because it is now hidden. So if you want to see the hidden one, what you can do is just click on this arrow mark and here show hidden fields. Once you will click on hidden fields, now you can say row ID. Now row ID still it is disabled. It is not enabled. You can observe the region, these fields, and you can see the row ID. Row ID is disabled. After clicking show hidden fields, you cannot directly use this field into your visualization. Okay, one refresh means you are telling refresh, right? Just right click on it, refresh. You are telling, right? Yeah, I'm going to refresh it. So once I will refresh also, now you can see it is refreshing. Let's see. Still, it is not enabled. See, after show hidden fields, you are clicking also. What you have to is you have to click on this drop down and you have to click unhide. You have to click unhide. Now you can see it is, now you can able to use this one. Okay, so this is how you can use. Now directly if you want to, like for example, out of 100 columns, just you have used 30 columns for your entire workbook. In entire workbook, you have used only 30 columns, let's assume, and remaining 70 columns you are not using. So what you are going to do is just directly one by one, you can't do, right, 70 columns. So what you can do is directly click on this and hide all unused fields. Once you will click on hide all unused fields, now you can see all the fields has been hidden. So now you can see all are in disabled state. And you can see here people's, the returns, all are in disabled state. See, what is the main purpose of hiding means? What is the main purpose of hiding means? Actually, see here, show hidden fields we are using, right? So that's where it is displaying like this. And you can click on this. Now it is, okay, once I will click on it, now you can see it is not displaying anything. Whatever the fields I used in the report, only those fields are appearing here. The main purpose of hiding the fields is like whenever, for example, you are using a live connection, see whenever it is triggering a query on the database, it is not going to bother about these hidden fields. In that case, what is going to happen is the performance is going to be improved. Okay, by hiding the unused fields, we can improve the performance. See, means it is going to be whenever it is going to send a query request to the database, or whenever it is fetching the data, creating a local copy. So it is going to ignore those fields. Okay, means the data will come, but generally in whenever, right? So it is refreshing. For example, this is a live connection. Whenever we are clicking on refresh, it is not going to bother about those. Only it is going to consider the active fields. Okay, the performance is going to be improved that way. So that is the purpose of hiding the fields. And also it is going to be very clean. Okay, it is also it is going to be very clean. For example, in future, if you want to use another 3 or 4 extra fields, then you can unhide only those fields. So you can click on show hidden fields, and whatever is required, you can unhide them. So this is how you can do it. Okay. Now I'm not sure like how we can unhide everything. So let me see any other option. Let me select all, Control A. Okay, oh, it's not going to work. Let me click unhide. Only it is a one unhide. Yeah, here we can select multiple things and one can. And one more thing is, so you can click on shift key. You can click the shift key and you can select all. Okay. After that, you can select these two. Then you can select any one and click on unhide. Okay. So you can hold the shift control key and then you can select from starting one and ending one. Okay. So this is the how we can do it. And now let's see another option. Like let's go here. Aliases we have seen. And right, so create is like this create, right? So here by using this create option, you can create a calculated field group set parameters. So we are going to discuss after this remaining. Okay. And one more is transform. So transform means like splitting. Okay. Splitting means like we can split the data. For example, so here let's see customer ID, what it is having. Yeah, this is the customer ID and order ID. Okay. So actually, okay, fine. So here we are having a order IDs. As per the requirement, the customer. Oh, here CA US California. I think US means United States. Okay, fine. So yeah, to understand the concept, right? So we are going to use this field order ID. So actually, what is the mean by split? Split means we are dividing into two parts, two or more parts. Means splitting, means cutting the data. Okay, split means we are going to divide the single. For example, this is the data. For example, if you go to Excel file, this is a, let's assume this is a single cell. Now this cell data, single cell data, I want to split into a multiple columns. Now this is a one column, order ID is a one column. Now I want to keep CA in one column, 2017 is in one column, and this ID is in one column. I want to make 3 different columns by splitting the data. Okay, or you want to keep only 2 parts. First is CA 2017 and the last one is the order ID. Now here I am going to extract only these last 6 digits from this order ID. So in this case, we are going to use split option. So now how we can split the data, now we can see. So now order ID, like order ID. Now I'm going to click on this drop down. Guys, to split any data, you should have the special character. Like here, hyphen, we are going to use as a special character. Okay, now you can see, and also you can, by writing a calculation also, you can split the data. Okay, I will show you that one as well. So just I'm going to click on transform and split. Now observe the screen here. When I will click on split, what is going to happen? I haven't done anything. Just I clicked on split. Now you can see 1, 2, 3. The order ID is splitted into 3 parts. Split 1, split 2, split 3. Now let's drag these 3 fields here. By selecting all these 3, just I am keeping in the rows. Now you can see CA is 1, split 1, and order ID. This is a split to 2017 and this is a split 3. Automatically the Tableau is splitted single column into 3 columns. Based on what it's splitted, it is using this as a identifier, hyphen. Okay, this is a direct split. And for example, if I will go to here, transform and custom split. Whenever you will use custom split, it is going to open one pop-up window. Here you can say use the separator. Use the separator means it is asking, this is whatever the hyphen is, right? So this, based on what we can separate this data. Means, for example, here is the hyphen. So if you give the hyphen, then it is going to split accordingly. Now you can see, yes, I want to split only the last section. Now you can see split of first, last, all. Now, in this case, what I want is I want only last section. So I am going to select last and click OK. Now you can see split 4. So this is the one. Now, if I will drag this one, now you can say you are going to get only the order ID. So this way you can split the data. And you can, by writing a calculation also, you can split the data. So what I am going to do is, see, actually order ID, let's go to order ID and here create calculated field. Okay, this way directly, whenever you will go this way, what is going to happen? Now you can see once I will click, the order ID is going to be available in this calculation area. In this window, calculation window, right? The order ID will be added automatically. Now I am not going to save anything, just I am closing. Now, for example, if you want to create a fresh calculation, instead of this is the one way you can go, or else you can go to click on this drop down and you can click on create a calculated field. And here you can see it is empty now. And here the field name, the calculation field name you are going to give. So I am going to give order number. Instead of order ID, I am going to give order number. Now here, my requirement is I want to split the last part. Now here, I am going to give, see, we are having different functions. So generally, whenever first time you will open, so the window, the calculation window is going to be like this. See, here there is a one small arrow mark. Once you will click on this arrow mark, here you can say these all are the different types of functions which the Tableau will provide. Now here, for example, string functions. Now you can see in the string functions, we are having character functions, contains, ends with, find, and is, date, length. See, different things we are having. Now, by using these, what we can do is we can split the data. Now you can see split function is also available. Split function is also available. Now by writing this calculation, I can split the split. So to split, what I'm going to use is, see here, it is provided some description also, split, string, delimiter, token number. So what this mean? What is a mean by string? What is a delimiter? What is a token number? What it is saying? So now here, what I am going to do is split. See, once you will type split, automatically it is going to display the either functions or column names, everything it is going to display. See, once, right, so it is space, it is displayed. So I am going to click one single arrow mark, and after that you can hit, you can tab key from your keyboard. So once you click on tab key, it is going to be inserted. Now you can say after inserting the split function, it is displaying the, like what we can say. Sometimes I will not get what's here. These are arguments. Okay, we are getting arguments. Now string. So what is the string here? Order ID is the string. So I am going to mention, I am going to type order ID. Now you can see order ID is displayed. Either you can click on this, or what you can do is directly you can drag this field and keep here. Now you can see the arrow mark, small arrow mark upside. You can this way. Now after this, what is the delimiter? Delimiter means based on what you want to split the thing. Now here, what I am going to do is I am going to give hyphen. I am going to give hyphen, not the underscore. After this, it is showing the token number. Token number. So comma again. So token number means here now you can see token number means guys here generally see the from how it is going to identify. Now we can say first place, second place like this, right? So here I am going to give -1. Let's see what is going to happen. -1 I am giving. So now the calculation, see the calculation is validity. It should display like this. Okay. Once after this, now you are going to click on OK. Now once you will click on OK, now you can see order number is available here. This is the custom field which we have created in Tableau. Now I am going to drag this one here. Now let's see what is going to happen. Now it is displaying order number. So here, why I have given -1 is, like now you can say from here I want to go one step back, means this is a -1 and this is a -2. If I will give -2, what is happened? Let's see. If I will give -2, okay. So now you can see it is displaying, it is picked only 2017. It is picked 2017. So that's why I have given -1. Means it is going to take in between. Now, what if I want both the numbers, 2017 as well as these numbers? How I will get those two? Combination of these two, like 2017 and this number. How I will get it? So simple thing, what I'm going to do is I am going to use the concatenation function. Split. Okay. Then after that, I'm going to use plus symbol. So concatenation operator means what we are going to do is we can concatenate the data. Okay. So now here again, split function I am going to use split. So order ID, comma, again, hyphen, comma, -1 I am going to give. See, now the calculation is valid. Now what I am going to do is, first I am going to do my split, means I am going to extract 2017 data, and after that I am going to split again. I am going to bring this last section, the numbers. Now if I will click on OK, now you can see you are going to get this one. Here, if you want to use hyphen or if you want to use any special character, you can use it. So how you are going to use is here, this right? So it is a concatenation operator, guys. So here this space, right? So here, if you want, you can give and symbol. Now you can say this is going to be in between 2017 and this one. Now let's see here. This is how you can get the data. You can split the data. Is it clear, guys? See, either directly the functionality, whatever it is available, by using that functionality, you can split the data, or you can, by writing the calculation also, you can achieve this one. Is it clear? See, like for the customer wanted to see only the last digits, or like customer want to see only few characters from starting. So in this case, you can use it. In some cases, not only this split function, so we are having substring functions, so you can use them as well. Okay. For example, here order number is there, right? So let me edit. Yeah, let me edit this calculation. So here I'm going to comment this calculation. So to comment this calculation, just 2 backslashes. Okay. So after this, see here, guys. So as I said, right? So we are having different string functions. So here you can see we are having starts with trim upper minimum lower, let fine. Okay, so now here let me try. So character function. So let's see. Sorry, it is a here find nth. Yeah, find nth. So what is going to happen with the find nth? Yeah, here string substring occurrence. Okay, now by using this find nth, we can find out. So here I am going to use find nth, and the string it is asking. String is like order ID, and substring. So here substring means, for example, here you can use hyphen, you can use, right? Hyphen. So this, and after that occurrence. Occurrence is like from where. Like occurrence means like it is now, for example, it is like first place and second occurrence. Hyphen means first occurrence, second occurrence. And zero, for example, if you want to extract, if you want to find the substring after zero, now you can say zero is it is a first occurrence, and this is a second occurrence. This zero is a third occurrence, fourth occurrence, fifth occurrence. Now it is asking from which occurrence I want to extract the data. Okay. Oh, sorry, it is going to give you the length. Sorry, guys. So it is give the like length of the string. So somewhere we have that one, guys. So length, no, left. Yeah. This left and right functions. Okay, fine. So here left function is there. So here we are going to use string again. Order ID, comma. Here, like if we want 2017 till 2017, right? So from left 1, 2, 3 positions. So now I am going to give like here. See guys, for example, if you want to take only this 1, 2, 3, 4 characters, then you can mention like as per this example, first 4 characters it is going to give you. But from last you want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 characters. Then is it going to work if I will give -11? The calculation is showing valid, but I am not sure how it is going to display. Just I am clicking on apply to see the data. Just I am clicking on apply. Now you can see it is displaying the null because it is not able to identify. Now let's give, if I will click 11, now it is going to give from here, it is going to consider 11 characters. It is going to consider 11 characters. Now how, in this case, how you can work on it? First, okay, fine. Now order ID like left means from left you are going to. Are we having right function here? Left means you are taking whatever the number you have given from left side, it is counting and it is bringing. Let's see, we are having right function or not. So we are having right function, right? From right, how many numbers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I will give 6, now from right side, it is going to get you 6 digits. See, now 6 digits. And 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. If you want that one. So you are going to give 11. So then it is going to bring you the data from 2017. So guys, different functions we can use for, you can use it. Okay. So this is how we can bring the data. See, this is a simple thing compared to this one. But if you want to insert special characters in between, then you have to go with this split. Or else you can directly bring with right. Okay. Is it clear, guys? The calculation part I will explain you guys. Sorry. Okay. So still it is running. Okay. 3687 seconds. Okay. Okay, guys. So I'm going to close this session for today. Okay.